So you're thinking about moving to Oxnard and wondering what you might not like about living here? Well, if that's the case, you're in luck because Keziah and I actually moved to Oxnard just over 4 years ago, and we learned some hard truths that I'm going to share with you in this video. Not to scare you off, but just to give you as much information as possible up front and some possible workarounds. Okay, let's get started. The first thing you might notice about Oxnard when you get here is it is off the charts gorgeous down by the coastal area. You'll see in this video, I'll go around to some different spots so you can check it out. And people's jaws drop open when they first, we give them the tour around. That being said, one hard truth you might not like is that it does get a little trashy at some of the beaches. I'm at the Kiddie Swim Beach now, and in particular in the summer on the weekends, it gets a little bit trashy along the shoreline. I do see local residents picking up trash, and there are volunteer groups that go around to pick up trash, but that just seems to be one thing that the city has a little bit of a tough time keeping up with here and on some of the other beaches as well. Another thing you might not like about the local beaches is there's naturally occurring tar actually that washes up on the beach at different times of year. So you can be out walking in your bare feet and then notice you have tar on your feet when you're done with your walk. It's pretty easy to wash off though. You can use dish soap and stuff like that. The next one you're gonna laugh at, and I have to laugh as well because originally we came from Colorado, but one thing people will complain about here is actually wind, gloom, and cold. Because believe it or not, especially in the winter here, it does get cold. When it's like 50 degrees, the wind's coming in off the ocean, it's been raining, you'll be cold to your bones. And the other one is the gloom, the May gray, the June gloom, even into July this year, we had that gloomy weather, and that's something that people just don't like and complain about. We actually had some friends that wanted to move up to this area, and it was the deal killer from them. They just stayed down more in the Los Angeles area, where overall it is going to be sunnier and warmer. You might not like how noisy Oxnard is. There's a train that passes by a bunch of neighborhoods. There's the Oxnard Airport where the flight path goes right over the downtown, and you'll definitely notice those planes. And also neighborhood parties are really big, and lots of times people will get live bands that will be playing in their backyard. And I don't want to forget the hot topic, and that is fireworks. Fireworks season starts here roughly 2 weeks before 4th of July and goes easily another couple weeks after that. And then there's just random fireworks that are shot off at different times of year that you'll notice. Another thing you might not like that relates a little bit to trash and a worn down feeling is the historic downtown area in Oxnard, which does have kind of a worn out feel to it. It really could be upgraded and could be exceptional, but at least right now when you go into the downtown, it feels run down. Now I'm right along the canals area. Right behind me is the Fisherman's Wharf area, which is going to be the site of a major redevelopment. The Karl's theme park is coming to town, and it's going to be a major project that's probably going to bring a lot more traffic to this area. So there's currently a real sleepy feel to this part of town here right along the Channel Islands Harbor, and if you like just easy access to boating, it's a huge pro. But once that development starts, it's probably going to be a big headache for people in particular who are living down here, or if you like to come down here to get easily onto the water, it's probably going to create some major disruptions. If you would like more information on that Karl's redevelopment project, we'll put a couple links for videos we've done in the show more section below. You're definitely going to find a frustration amongst local residents as well for all of the taxes that you are paying. There's that sense like, hey, where are my city services? Like for instance, we noticed with tree trimming that it took several years for the city to come out and trim trees in our neighborhood. It was just super slow. We've heard that the process for pulling a permit for an ADU, an additional unit, can be really slow. And you'll hear residents complaining about overall the city needs to be better organized and also just keeping the city cleaner and tidier. Internet access. You might not enjoy the fact that Spectrum kind of has a monopoly on this market and outages have been reported. So you might want to have a backup hotspot on your phone or look into Starlink or some other means to have internet access. Cost of living, that's probably one you're well aware of. The average home price here is roughly double the national average for an entry-level home. And if you're going to buy a home here in Oxnard, your entry-level price is somewhere around $700,000 more as you move closer to the ocean and generally less as you move further away. There are some workarounds. If you get a home that has an additional unit, you can use that rental income to offset the price of the home. As you move east, you can find homes that are a little less expensive. Also, if you get a home that's non-updated or maybe has a one bathroom, that can possibly get you into a lower price range. But the costs don't stop there. Your property tax is right around 1%. The sales tax is at 9.25% combined. And you're definitely going to notice, for instance, your price of gas is going to be more extreme here. Another thing you'll want to know is you're going to be car dependent here. There really isn't good public transportation. And so lots of people are driving. Some of the roads can get really super busy, just like in the other places. But a key thing to be on the lookout for as well, depending on the neighborhood you're buying in, is street parking can get super tight. Like a lot of cities in California, Oxnard is working to address homelessness. There's volunteer and community organizations that are involved. And they also had a proposed plan for a tiny home community to be built in Oxnard, which has not started as of yet. Hey, what about crime, right? That's a big problem just about everywhere. The city of Oxnard does put out a crime map with statistics. So if you're interested in that topic, that's the best place to go for that. If you like this channel and this video, the best thing you could do to support our channel is share it with a friend. What about the potential for natural disasters like earthquakes, tsunami, and even wildfires? The really big concern on the news, obviously for all of California, is wildfires. And while Oxnard is in a lower fire risk zone, last year there was the mountain fire in Camarillo, and the wind at that time was blowing towards the ocean, so Oxnard got absolutely inundated with smoke. So that is one thing you could factor in. We had a client that actually budgeted into their yearly budget money allotted for them to leave town if the area was getting inundated with smoke. Fortunately, Oxnard has an onshore breeze for much of the year that blows the other direction. It blows east, and so there could be wildfires in other parts of California, and lots of times the wind is just blowing any potential smoke inland. But when you have the Santa Ana winds in high wildfire season towards the fall and winter, that wind can come the opposite direction, and in that case it could blow smoke in towards Oxnard. So yeah, that could be a big con that, you know, you might really not like. Sometimes our clients do ask us about tsunamis, and while there hasn't been a tsunami in the history of Oxnard, it is something people are potentially concerned about. Probably what is more likely to happen that you'll see here are king waves that do come in the winter time. But because Oxnard has wide beaches and they build these big sand dune kind of barriers along the beach when the king waves comes, that is a very effective protection. As far as flooding, we've seen more of that actually over in the Ventura area because the beaches are less wide and there are homes that get a lot closer to the water there just because they have less land barrier there. There has been some minor flooding though in Oxnard as well as Port Hueneme from some of those king waves. Air quality, and one factor related to that is this is a very agricultural area, so that's something to be aware of. If you don't like the idea of living next to major farms where they could be using chemicals and fertilizers, that type of thing, that's just something you'll want to know. And overall, Oxnard and the Port Hueneme area does not have high ratings for air quality. One possible workaround to that, I suppose, is the closer you live to the beach, you're getting all those negative ions from the ocean. That does help clear the air. And Keziah had really bad asthma when we lived in Colorado, and for her, actually, her experience here has been much better. She hasn't had a single asthma attack since we moved to this area, so go figure. Okay, with all of these cons, why would somebody live here? Well, for starters, the weather is perfect pretty much year-round, anywhere from 50 to 80. We had a heat wave recently, and Keziah and I were complaining. We were like, oh my God, it's 80 degrees today, which shows you how spoiled we've become with the weather here. Most homes here do not have an AC, and really, even through the winter, if you're kind of hardy, you hardly need to run your furnace. So you are saving on some costs there, and we are so frequently getting calls from people from other parts of California and the country. They want to move here because they are getting heated out where they're from and they're tired of it, and that is a huge plus to this area. Also, Oxnard and surrounding areas are what I like to refer to as the best of California, really without all of the people. Oxnard is the biggest city in Ventura County. It's only around 200,000 people. So yeah, there is some traffic and some congestion in spots here, but you can get to places really easily from here. You can go over to Ventura to have fun. You can get down to Malibu. You can go up to Santa Barbara. You can still get to Los Angeles. Depending on the time of day you go, it might not be too awful. So you're within easy distance to a lot of places. You can get up into the mountains to go hiking. So if you enjoy the outdoors, that's a huge selling point to this area. And Oxnard as well has its own harbor. The Channel Islands Harbor is just fantastic. And a whole vast canals area that we like to refer to as the Venice of Ventura County. So just had to throw a few of those pros in here with all this doom and gloom. Hey, if you're still considering Oxnard as a potential place to live and we haven't scared you off with this list of cons, just wanted to mention real quick, Keziah and I are real estate agents. And if you want to get your questions answered fast, give us a call. Don't hesitate. We have clients actually we're working with who are even 2 years out. So it's never too soon to give us a call and just let us know what you're thinking and see if we can be helpful.